The 2024 presidential election is just 6 days away. As the election draws near, Trump's lead is skyrocketing. So let's begin by filling in the solid states for both candidates. We'll start off with the safe blue states for the vice president. She is easily going to win Washington, California, Hawaii, Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, and the 1st District of Maine. This gives her 131 electoral votes. For Trump, he's easily going to win Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North and South Dakota, all of Nebraska except its 2nd district, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, and South Carolina. And so, likely races are for the former president. We're going to begin with the two most obvious ones, Alaska and the 2nd District of Maine. Starting with Alaska, he's still going to win the state by a double-digit margin. And then, up in Maine's 2nd District, which is likely red, Trump is going to win it for a 3rd time in a row. We also have Iowa and Ohio, two states that Democrats always think they can win. But in the end, Trump won these two states by nearly the same margins. Today, Trump can win Iowa and Ohio by double-digit margins of 10 percentage points or more. It's going to be a blowout. Both Iowa and Ohio are going to be likely Republican. And then, down in the Sun Belt, we have two more likely red states. I think what they're going to be is pretty obvious as well. We'll start in Texas, a race that Trump carried by 6 points 4 years ago. He won it by 9 back in 2016. In 2024, Trump is probably going to win Texas by his largest margin yet. It can definitely vote red by 10 percentage points or more. So, the Lone Star State is going to be likely red. Before going forward, please subscribe this channel for daily election map updates. Thank you. We also have the state of Florida with 30 additional electoral votes. Polling had Joe Biden winning Texas at multiple points of the 2020 cycle. He was also supposed to win Florida based on the data on election day. Not only did Biden lose Florida, but he performed worse than Clinton did here back in 2016. This state is most definitely likely red. And so, with the likely states filled in for Trump, he is at 219 electoral votes, just 51 away from the presidency. We're now going to move on to the likely blue states. Races that Harris is going to win by 7 percentage points or more. And so, we'll start with Oregon and New Jersey. These two states are obviously still going to go blue, but just by lesser margins than their more liberal neighbors. Oregon and New Jersey fundamentally are not as left-leaning as states like Washington or Maryland. We also have the Empire State of New York. I see Harris winning the race by just under 15 points. It's going to be the worst Democratic performance in the Empire State since 1988. And then finally, we have Colorado's 10 electoral votes. This is a state that Biden carried by 14 points in the last election. Harris isn't even going to crack 10. She should be lucky if she wins the state by over 7 points. But for now, I do have the race as likely Democratic. And so, with all of the likely states filled in, Harris trails with just 191 electoral college votes. We're now going to fill in the lean states. Races that are going to go to Harris or Trump by 2 to 7 points. We're going to start off in Tim Walz's home state of Minnesota. He's basically the only reason why Harris is the favorite here. If Walz wasn't on the ballot, Minnesota would be one of the most competitive states in the country. Harris leads by just 3 to 4 points in the polls, despite Joe Biden having won the state by a whopping 7 points in 2020, and he wasn't running with the state's incoming governor. So, the first lean state on the map is going to be Minnesota, going in favor of the Democrats. Next up, in New Mexico, Kamala Harris is struggling here. She leads by just 6 points in the polls, even though Joe Biden carried the state by nearly double that margin. Democrats are losing Hispanic voters, and this is a trend you see all across the country. So, New Mexico is also going to be lean blue. Moving up now to the Northeast, we have two rather competitive races in New Hampshire and Maine, two states that Kamala Harris is going to win by less than 7 points. Joe Biden, though, did win these two states by likely margins, so both of these races are going to be lean blue. We also have the 2nd District of Nebraska. Democrats are favored here, and redistricting has actually put Democrats in an even better position. That's really the only reason why Harris is winning here. If we went back to the old 2nd District borders, Donald Trump would likely be the winner. And finally, the last lean blue state on this map is Virginia. I have Kamala Harris winning by just over a 2-point margin. The state went to Biden by 10% in the last election, but it has definitely taken a huge shift to the right ever since Republicans won the governorship here with Glenn Youngkin back in 2021. Polling today shows Harris leading here by just 5 points. So, Virginia is going to be the final lean blue state going in favor of Kamala Harris. We're now left with the final 7 states, 3 up in the Rust Belt and 3 down in the Sun Belt. It's these 7 states that are actually going to decide the next president. And the bad news for Harris is that she is losing in every single one of them. In all 7 of the battlegrounds, Harris is underperforming. We're going to start with Georgia. In my opinion, this is going to be the most right-leaning of all 7 states. What's surprising is that it actually went to Joe Biden in the last election by just under 1/4 of a percentage point. It was the closest state on the entire map. Polls in Georgia generally are pretty accurate. I see Trump coming out on top here by 3 to 4 points. It's going to be an impressive margin of victory. So, the first lean red state on the map is going to be the peach state of Georgia. Next up, we have another Sun Belt state, and that will be Arizona. Arizona is a must-win state. If he doesn't have support here, he's going to struggle everywhere else. But the good news for him is that, just like in Georgia, he has taken a wide lead in Arizona. He's ahead by 1.5%. That is why Arizona will also lean toward Donald Trump. We're actually going to jump up now to Pennsylvania as the next state that's going to fall in favor of the former president. With its 19 electoral votes, it's the most valuable of all the battlegrounds. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, it is basically over for Harris. She must sweep the entire Midwest, and that is something nobody really believes she is on track to do. He's probably going to win the race by just over 2 points. It's definitely going to be competitive because both campaigns know just how important Pennsylvania is. In 2016, Trump carried Pennsylvania by 0.7%, and Biden brought it back by 1.2%. So, it has been extremely close in both of the last 2 cycles. But going into 2024, Pennsylvania is going to be the final lean red state on this map. All 4 of the remaining states are going to be categorized as tilt, which means they'll be decided by 2 percentage points or less. And we're going to begin in North Carolina, where I have Trump winning by just under 2 points. It's still going to be a strong victory for the former president. He's going to improve his performance from 2020. According to the polling average, Trump leads by 0.8%. I fully believe he's going to win North Carolina. I mean, this is a state that he carried in both 2016 and 2020. The only one out of the 7 swing states where he was able to do that. I have shifted North Carolina into the tilt Republican category, and this will be enough for Trump to get over 270. His pathway lies through most of the Sun Belt states along with Pennsylvania. Now we're just going to finish off the map and fill in Wisconsin and Michigan, 2 states that always vote together along with Pennsylvania. And looking at the polling today, Trump leads in both Michigan and Wisconsin. No doubt, Trump is going to flip Michigan and Wisconsin back. He won them in 2016. They're going to vote for him by around 1 to 2 points. And finally, Nevada is what I believe to be the most competitive state at this point. The polling currently has the former president ahead by 0.7%. Polls in Nevada are generally pretty accurate. It's become a very competitive state. But for now, I do have Trump as the favorite. I mean, he is gaining momentum so fast. It doesn't look like it's going to die down. And this is my updated 2024 electoral map prediction. Donald Trump is ahead with a whopping 312 electoral votes, easily on track to win the 2024 presidential election. If this trend continues, the former president is going to return to the White House. That's it. I will see you tomorrow with the updated map. Thank you so much for watching. And whom will you vote for this time? Tell me in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel.